Fireworks is excited to announce a new Build SDK that makes it really easy to start experimenting and building with AI. To get started, you import the LLM class from the Fireworks Python package, and you basically instantiate this LLM class along with arguments for everything that you want for this particular deployment of this LLM. In particular, we want the Qwen 2.572b instruct model, and we've described some configurations for number of GPUs and replica count. And then we've also enabled multi-LoRa for this particular deployment. So once you instantiate the LLM class, you can call .apply. Apply will check the state of your Fireworks account and make sure that this deployment exists. If it doesn't, it will go ahead and create that deployment. The SDK is OpenAI compatible, so this LLM instance can be called with the chat completion API as you would regularly. In this particular demo, we'll run 125 experiments in 3 minutes on a single GPU deployment. What we're using for this experiment is a difficult function calling dataset. Here you can see some examples of tool calls that we have in this dataset. And to evaluate our model across this data set, we're basically making a simple chat completions API with the provided tools. And then we'll basically compare the actual tool calls along with the expected tool calls and give it a score from 0 to 1, depending on the number of tool calls it got right out of the set. So we'll define some helper functions here and evaluate our base model. You can see that our base model will get a score of 18% in this particular case. And so now we want to go ahead and fine tune our models to see if we can improve the performance. In this particular case, we'll fine tune our model across 5 different epochs and 5 different LoRa ranks. And finally, we'll evaluate across 5 different temperatures to be running 125 experiments. The Fireworks SDK also has this concept of a dataset class. This dataset class is a really easy way for you to import datasets onto Fireworks and start fine-tuning jobs. So we'll go ahead and kick off 25 fine-tuning jobs. All you have to do is take that same LLM instance and call create supervised fine-tuning job. And then in this particular case, we'll wait for all of them to complete. I've already run all of these fine-tuning jobs, so they've completed right away because they're referenced by name. And then we can go ahead and run our evaluations in the same way we did the base model. In this case, I'll save you from the time it takes to actually run these evaluations, and I'll show you the results that we got. You can see here that as we increase the number of LoRa ranks for our fine-tuning job, we see performance increase. As we increase temperature, we actually see score decrease. And then as we increase the number of epochs, we actually see a positive correlation. Here you can see a chart mapping epochs versus rank, and you can see the best performing configuration happened to be a rank of 4 with 5 epochs. And so we can actually choose that configuration for our production model deployment. Here's a graph of scores of the base model performance and the average of the fine-tuning job. So fine-tuning on average did perform better than the base model. And finally, we were able to get a 26% increase in quality over the base model. And as the AI industry works, new models come out very frequently, and Fireworks offers these models usually on day 0. And so adding new experimentations to your scripts are easily done programmatically, and we can plot this new model in this particular case, Qwen 3, and compare that against the existing data. Here we find that the new models actually do perform a lot better. So we'll probably need to go back to the drawing board on our model architecture or model system. And as promised, this was all happening on one single GPU deployment, saving us resources rather than spinning up 25 different deployments for our 25 models. Just to recap, we ran 125 experiments on a single GPU deployment and would love for you to check out our new SDK. You can simply go to fireworks.ai/docs to go check out the new documentation for this SDK.